Hey everyone, welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be diving into the world of meat cutters. We're helping you get prepped for that interview. And we've got some really awesome resources for you guys, the RoleCatcher Career and Interview Guides.
Yeah, these guides are seriously packed with advice and industry knowledge that you really just won't find anywhere else.
Definitely not. So if you're ready to really impress those interviewers, you're in the right place. Let's jump right in. So first, let's break down what a meat cutter actually does.
All right, so the RoleCatcher Career Guide talks about transforming carcasses into those like mouth-watering cuts and portions.
Okay, so it's not just about knowing a ribeye from a chuck roast.
No, it's about using those hand tools and machinery to get the job done right.
It's about precision and like really knowing the craft, right?
Exactly. Interviewers are going to be looking for candidates who get that. You need to know about the different cuts of meat, of course, but also things like food safety regulations, how to use equipment safely.
It's like a blend of culinary artistry and technical skill, all while maintaining a safe and clean environment.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's get into the heart of our deep dive, those interview questions. RoleCatcher's interview guide has some really interesting ones lined up. Okay, first up, what motivated you to become a meat cutter? Seems straightforward, but I'm guessing there's more to it than saying, I like steak.
Oh, yeah. Anyone can say they enjoy a good steak. This question is about showcasing your passion, your real, genuine excitement for this. What is it about meat cutting that truly excites you? Is it the artistry of breaking down a carcass? Maybe it's the satisfaction of providing like high-quality food. Maybe you're just fascinated by the science of it all, the different cuts and how they impact flavor.
Yeah, dig deep. It's about going beyond the obvious and revealing a deeper connection to the craft.
Right. Instead of just saying, I'm a foodie, you could talk about how you admire the skill and precision of master butchers, or your fascination with the farm-to-table movement. It shows you're really thinking about it.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, next question. How do you ensure you're cutting meat properly and safely? This seems like a big one.
Oh, it is. Food safety should be like the top priority for any meat cutter. This question is designed to figure out, do you actually know the best practices? Do you know the regulations? A strong answer here is going to show you understand proper hygiene, temperature control, and how to prevent cross-contamination. Don't be afraid to get really specific here.
So talk about things like how you sanitize your tools, how you store different types of meat, and how you keep that workspace clean.
Yep. You're demonstrating that you're not just skilled with a knife, but you're also really committed to maintaining a safe and healthy environment.
Right, for everyone. You got it. Okay, here's one that seems a little tricky. How do you handle difficult or complex cutting requests? I'm imagining customers can be pretty particular about their meat.
Oh, yeah, they can. This question is meant to see how you handle customer service, your problem-solving skills. Like a customer might request a very specific thickness for their steak or a cut that's not very well known. You might even get a deboning job that requires extra care.
So how would you answer that?
Your answer should show that you can stay calm, ask good questions to understand exactly what they need, and then deliver on those expectations.
So it's about being adaptable and finding solutions, even when someone throws you a curveball.
Exactly.
Now, here's a question that I think is really interesting. How do you stay up to date with new cutting techniques and trends in the meat industry?
This is huge. The meat industry, like everything else, is always changing. New tech, new trends, there's always something new to learn.
So how can you show that you're staying current?
A strong answer is going to highlight your commitment to that constant learning. So mention industry publications you follow, workshops or courses you've taken, even online communities you're a part of.
It's about showing that you're not content with just knowing the basics. You're eager to stay ahead of the curve.
Right. You're constantly refining your skills.
I like that. Okay, so we've covered a few questions, but how can listeners use RoleCatcher's AI to really make sure those answers stand out?
That's where things get interesting. RoleCatcher's AI gives you a serious edge in your job search. It actually analyzes job descriptions to zero in on the specific skills and experience that those employers are looking for.
So it's like having someone combing through tons of job postings to figure out exactly what will make you stand out.
Exactly.
That's incredible. So it's not just generic advice. It's tailored to each specific job you're going for.
You got it. The AI helps you highlight the most important parts of your experience and skills, making sure they match what those employers want to see.
Wow, that's a game changer. Okay, let's dive into a few more of these questions. This next one looks interesting.
This next one's all about understanding what the customer really wants. It's How do you ensure you are meeting customer needs when cutting meat?
Okay, so it's about communication, right? Like really listening to what they're asking for.
Absolutely. Some customers, they'll come in knowing exactly what they want. Like, I need a flank steak, trimmed and butterflied, but like thin enough to stuff.
Hmm.
You need to know what those terms mean and be ready to ask questions so you get it right.
Right? Because sometimes what they're asking for isn't totally clear.
Exactly. Other times, people have no idea what they want. That's where your knowledge comes in. You can talk about the different cuts, maybe suggest something based on how they're cooking it.
It's about guiding them toward the best choice, whether they realize that's what they need or not.
Exactly. Speaking of knowing your stuff, let's look at a question about your skills. How do you ensure that you are working efficiently when cutting meat?
Okay, so in a busy shop, that's got to be important. What are they looking for here?
They want to hear that you understand how important time management is, how to keep things moving. So talk about things you do to stay efficient. Maybe it's keeping those knives sharp or having a really organized workspace.
Right, so you're not wasting time searching for things.
Exactly. If you've got experience in a high-volume butcher shop, definitely mention that. It shows you can handle the pressure.
So it's about working quickly, but not sacrificing quality.
You got it. And that actually leads right into the next question, which is all about quality control. How do you ensure you are maintaining the quality of the meat when cutting it?
Yeah, that's huge. No one wants a bad cut of meat.
Exactly. This question digs into whether you understand how to handle and store meat properly. Talk about how you can tell good quality meat just by looking at it, or how you prevent it from getting damaged while you're cutting.
So like not handling it too much so it stays tender,
Yeah.
or storing different cuts at the right temperature.
Exactly. You want to show them you respect the product and take pride in giving the customer the best.
Absolutely. Okay, switching gears a bit, let's talk safety. How do you maintain a safe working environment when cutting meat?
Oh, this is so important. With all the sharp knives and equipment, it can be dangerous if you're not careful.
Yeah, for sure. What should people focus on here?
This question is all about showing them you're committed to keeping yourself and everyone around you safe. Talk about specific things you do, like always wearing those cut-resistant gloves.
Right, and keeping your area clean so no one trips over anything.
Yes. And storing those knives safely when you're not using them.
Basically, being proactive about safety.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, but the RoleCatcher Career Guide doesn't just help you with the interview. It also talks about where you can go from there, right?
Absolutely. Becoming a meat cutter isn't a dead end at all. There's actually a lot of room to grow and specialize if you want to.
Okay, tell me more about that.
So you might start as an entry-level cutter, but you can move up to be a manager or maybe even the head butcher. Some people, they really find a niche, like they become a master at deboning or they specialize in making sausages.
Wow, so there's really something for everyone. Yeah. And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can be a huge help. It can actually look at job descriptions for those more specialized roles and help you tailor your resume so you stand out.
Oh, that's right. It's like having your own career coach.
Exactly. Okay, ready for a few more questions from the guide? This next one's a really good one.
This one seems pretty straightforward. It's, what experience do you have in meat cutting? So this is your chance to brag a little, right?
Yeah, definitely. This
Yeah.
is where you lay it all out.
Okay, so what are they looking for?
Tell them about your training, apprenticeships, even if you just love to butcher at home.
Yeah.
Be specific, you know? Like, what kinds of meat have you worked with? What cuts are you really good at? Any special techniques you've learned?
Right, show off those skills.
Exactly. And if you've worked somewhere really busy, like a high-volume shop, definitely mention that. Shows you can handle the pressure.
That makes sense. Okay, we talked earlier about how the industry is always changing. So this next question is about that. How do you stay up to date with new cutting techniques and trends in the meat industry?
Right. They want to know you're on top of things.
So how do you show that?
Well, you can talk about publications you read, workshops or courses you've taken, online communities, anything that shows you're always learning.
Right, so it could be something as simple as, like, you learned a new cutting technique online.
Exactly. Or maybe you went to a seminar on like sustainable butchering, anything that shows you're taking the initiative to learn and grow.
It shows you're passionate. Okay, so we've talked about how RoleCatcher's AI can help tailor your answers, but how does that actually work? Can you give us an example?
Sure. So say you upload your resume to RoleCatcher, the AI looks at it and figures out what your strengths are, right? Then when you're practicing your answers to these interview questions, it'll actually give you feedback.
Whoa, no way.
Yeah, it'll point out things you can emphasize more or specific achievements that match what that employer is looking for.
That's amazing. So it's basically like having a personal interview coach.
Pretty much. It takes all the guesswork out of it. So to wrap things up, we've really dug deep into the world of meat cutters.
We talked about what the job actually entails, those tricky interview questions.
And how using the right tools like RoleCatcher can give you a real edge in your job search.
For sure. It's all about being prepared and showing them you're passionate about the craft. So thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone. Good luck with those interviews. You got this.